There are moments in life when a quiet discomfort begins to grow inside us. It starts small. It's just a feeling that something isn't right. On the surface, everything seems fine. You wake up, you go to work. You smile when expected. You take care of your family. You go through the motions. But late at night, when everything gets still, there's that nagging voice inside, whispering, asking, is this really the life I want for myself? Louise Hay often said that life mirrors the love we have for ourselves. When we continue accepting situations that drain us, people who belittle us, or jobs that leave us emotionally empty, it's not because life is punishing us. It's because deep down we've sent a message to the universe. A message that says, this is what I believe I deserve. It's not always easy to admit this to ourselves. Most of us didn't wake up one day and decide to settle. It happened slowly, over time. Maybe you were taught to always put others first, to stay quiet, to avoid conflict, to be grateful for whatever you had, even if it wasn't enough. Wanting more started to feel like being ungrateful. Speaking up felt like being difficult. So, day after day, you started shrinking. You smiled even when it hurt. You stayed in situations long after they stopped feeling right. You told yourself stories like, maybe this is just how life is. Maybe I'm expecting too much. But Louise taught that these beliefs are not facts. They're old scripts written by fear, past pain, and emotional conditioning. And unless we choose to rewrite them, they will keep controlling our lives. Think about your daily life for a moment. The people you surround yourself with. The way you speak to yourself, the things you tolerate. Are these things nourishing you? Are they helping you grow? Or are they slowly draining your energy and stealing your joy? Self-love is not just about saying nice things to yourself in the mirror. It's about making real decisions. It's about choosing relationships that uplift you, work that inspires you, environments where you can breathe deeply and feel at peace. It's about deciding with love and courage that you're no longer available for anything that makes you feel small. Of course, making that decision is not easy. Fear shows up, doubt creeps in. The mind starts listing all the reasons why it's better to stay where you are. But discomfort is often the universe's way of getting your attention. It's your soul saying you were made for more. So before we go deeper into this journey, I invite you to pause, take a slow, deep breath, close your eyes for a second, and ask yourself, with complete honesty, what is one thing in your life right now that you know deep down is no longer serving you? If you feel comfortable, share your answer in the comments below. Your words could be the light that helps someone else find their way. It's fascinating how we become experts at convincing ourselves that everything is fine. We wake up each morning, put on a smile, and tell ourselves that this is just how life is supposed to be. We go through the motions, checking off tasks, fulfilling responsibilities, and showing up for everyone else. Yet somewhere deep inside, there's that lingering feeling of dissatisfaction. That quiet voice reminding us that we're not truly happy. Louise Hay often spoke about how our inner dialogue shapes our reality. The words we repeat to ourselves become the beliefs we live by. If every day you tell yourself that you're lucky just to have a job, even if it makes you miserable, you start to believe that's all you're capable of. If you tell yourself that difficult relationships are normal, you begin to expect and accept that kind of treatment. Without even realizing it, you build a life based on limitation. The problem is that these beliefs didn't start with us. Many of them were handed down by parents, teachers, and society. As children, we absorbed everything around us like sponges. If we were told that love means sacrifice, we grew up thinking that we have to suffer to deserve affection. If we were told that life is hard and we shouldn't expect too much, we internalized the idea that dreaming big was unrealistic. These messages became part of our subconscious. And now, as adults, we carry them like invisible weights, affecting every choice we make. We stay in situations that don't serve us, not because we enjoy suffering, but because, on some level, we believe that's just how life works. But Louise taught that once we become aware of these patterns, we have the power to change them. It all starts with recognizing the thoughts that run in the background of our minds. The ones that say, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never find something better," or "this is just the way things are." These are not universal truths. They're learned beliefs, and they can be unlearned. Think about a recent moment when you felt disrespected, overlooked, or unappreciated. How did you respond? Did you speak up for yourself, or did you stay silent and tell yourself it wasn't worth the trouble? These moments are opportunities to pause and ask, what belief am I holding that makes me think this is acceptable? Louise always encouraged people to gently challenge their own thoughts. She believed that healing doesn't happen through self-criticism, but through self-awareness and kindness. Start by noticing your inner dialogue. Are you your own supporter, or are you your harshest critic? Changing the way you speak to yourself might seem like a small step, but it's one of the most powerful shifts you can make. When you start replacing self-judgment with compassion, something inside you softens. And from that place of softness, new choices become possible. So before we move forward, pause and reflect. What's one belief you've been carrying that might be holding you back? Do you feel comfortable? Share it in the comments. You might find that just by putting it into words, you'll start to loosen its grip on your life. Sometimes we tell ourselves that staying where we are is easier, that it's safer to hold on to what we know even when it hurts. The fear of change can feel overwhelming, like standing at the edge of a cliff with no idea what waits on the other side. Louise Hay understood this fear deeply. She often spoke about how the unknown feels threatening because our minds crave familiarity, even if that familiarity is painful. We stay in jobs that drain us because we're afraid no better opportunity will come. We remain in relationships that leave us feeling lonely because we believe being alone would feel worse. We tolerate friendships that take more than they give because we think setting boundaries might leave us with no one at all. The fear of letting go convinces us that what we have is better than the unknown. But here's what Louise taught so many people around the world. Change becomes possible the moment we realize we're allowed to want more. Wanting more peace, more joy, more respect, more love. This isn't selfish. It's self-awareness. Think for a second about the last time you stayed silent when you wanted to speak up. Maybe it was during a conversation with a friend who crossed a line. Maybe it was at work when someone overlooked your effort. That small moment where you chose to stay quiet instead of honoring your feelings is often where self-abandonment begins. Louise encouraged people to see these moments as wake-up calls, not reasons for shame, but invitations to do something different next time. She reminded us that every time we choose to shrink ourselves, we reinforce the belief that we don't deserve better. This doesn't mean you need to make drastic changes overnight. True transformation often starts with the smallest decisions. Saying no when something doesn't feel right. Speaking up when you need to be heard. Giving yourself permission to rest when your body feels tired. Each small act of self-love builds a new belief within you. I matter. My feelings are valid. My needs deserve attention. Imagine what your life would look like if you approached each day with this belief at the center of your choices. Picture waking up and choosing environments, people, and situations that make your heart feel light instead of heavy. Louise often said, "You've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens." These words carry a powerful truth. The way you speak to yourself, the way you treat yourself, sets the standard for how the world treats you. If you're starting to notice patterns in your life that feel like they're repeating, it's not a coincidence. It's a message. Life keeps giving you the same lesson until you're ready to choose differently. So here's a gentle reflection for you. What's one area of your life where fear has kept you stuck? What would change if, just for today, you trusted that letting go of what no longer serves you could make space for something so much better. There comes a point when we realize that holding on is costing us more than letting go. It might be a relationship that no longer brings joy, a job that drains your spirit, or even old habits of negative self-talk that keep repeating in your mind. Louise Hay often spoke about how true healing begins the moment we decide we are no longer willing to suffer. For many people, this decision doesn't come in a single moment of clarity. It builds slowly over time. It starts with a few restless nights, a growing sense of dissatisfaction. It's an internal voice that grows louder, asking, "How much longer can I live like this?" You might notice it when you wake up in the morning already feeling tired, or when you find yourself making excuses for other people's behavior, or when you sit alone questioning if this is really all life has to offer you. These small moments of discomfort are not random. They are signals from within telling you that something needs to change. Louise taught that the universe listens. When we listen to ourselves, when we begin to pay attention to what feels wrong and take action to change it, we shift our energy. And when our energy shifts, life responds. Think for a moment about something you've been tolerating. Maybe it's the way someone talks to you, or the lack of appreciation you feel in your workplace. Or perhaps it's the way you keep putting your own needs at the bottom of your priority list. The truth is, self-love means taking responsibility for how we allow ourselves to be treated. It's about recognizing that we teach people how to treat us based on what we're willing to accept. Louise often invited people to ask themselves a simple but powerful question. If I truly loved myself, what would I do in this situation? Sometimes the answer feels scary. It might mean having a difficult conversation, setting a boundary for the first time, saying no when you're used to always saying yes, or even making the choice to walk away from something that no longer feels right. And here's where fear shows up again. It's the fear of rejection, the fear of disappointing others, it's the fear of being alone. These fears are real, but they are not reasons to stay stuck. Louise taught that fear is just a thought, and thoughts can be changed. Every small act of courage sends a new message to your subconscious mind. It tells your inner self, I am choosing love over fear. So today, take a moment to reflect. Is there a decision you've been avoiding because it feels uncomfortable? What would happen if, just for today, you chose to act in your own best interest? And if this message resonates with you, if you're starting to recognize areas in your life where you've been settling for less, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Let's create a space where other women reading this can feel less alone in their own process of change. There is something powerful that happens when you begin to see yourself with honest eyes, not through the lens of past mistakes, not through the opinions of others, but through the clarity that comes when you ask, what do I truly want for my life? Louise Hay often said that awareness is the first step toward healing, but action is what transforms that awareness into reality. For many women, this is the turning point. The moment when they stop asking for permission to want more. The moment when they realize they don't need to justify their feelings or explain their decisions to anyone else. It's the shift from hoping things will get better to deciding to make them better. This is not about being reckless or impulsive. It's about making intentional choices that align with your self-worth. Think about the areas of your life where you've been ignoring your needs. Is it your physical health, your emotional well-being, your boundaries with family or friends? Whatever it is, ignoring it doesn't make it go away. It only makes the discomfort grow louder. Louise often encouraged people to start with small, loving actions. Maybe it's saying no to something that feels draining. Maybe it's setting aside time each day just for yourself. Maybe it's finally having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. These small steps may seem insignificant, but each one is a statement to yourself and to the universe. I am worthy of better. Imagine waking up in the morning with a sense of peace, knowing that your day will be filled with choices that support your happiness, your health, and your emotional balance. This doesn't mean life becomes perfect overnight. Challenges will still come. but the difference is how you respond to them. When you're rooted in self-love, you stop accepting less than you deserve. Think about how many times you've compromised your happiness just to avoid conflict. How many times you've stayed quiet when your heart wanted to speak. Louise taught that healing comes when we stop betraying ourselves, when we choose authenticity over approval. This is where boundaries become an act of love, not just towards yourself, but towards others as well. When you set boundaries, you teach people how to love and respect you. You show them that your energy, your time, and your heart are valuable. And with every step you take, something inside you shifts. You start to notice that the people who truly care about you will support your growth. The ones who don't will naturally fall away. It might feel painful at first, but this clearing creates space for new, healthier connections to come into your life. Louise often reminded people that the universe supports every positive change we make. When you align your actions with your self-worth, life begins to respond in ways you never expected. So today, I invite you to reflect. What is one small action you can take that says, without words, I value myself? If you feel like sharing, leave a comment. Your decision might inspire someone else to choose themselves today. One of the hardest truths to accept is that not everyone will. Celebrate your growth. As you begin to honor your feelings, set clear boundaries, and demand more from life, some people may distance themselves. Others might criticize your choices. Some may even try to make you feel guilty for changing. Louise Hay often described this phase as a crucial turning point in any healing journey. It is the moment where you must decide whose voice carries more weight, your own or the voices of those who feel uncomfortable with your transformation. For many women, this stage feels unfamiliar and overwhelming. We grow up learning to keep the peace, to avoid conflict, to make sure everyone else feels okay, even if it means sacrificing our own happiness. So when you start making decisions based on your worth, doubt naturally shows up. Thoughts like, am I being selfish? Am I doing the right thing? Or, what if I end up alone, begin to surface. Louise taught that these fears are not the truth. They are reflections of old programming. Beliefs passed down from childhood, shaped by past experiences, and reinforced by years of people-pleasing. The real truth is that you deserve relationships where you feel seen, heard, and valued. You deserve work that fulfills you. Deserve a life that feels expansive instead of limiting. This is the phase where many people give up. The pull to return to the familiar becomes strong. The mind whispers that going back will make things easier. But going back will only lead to more of the same, more frustration, more sadness, more nights spent wondering why nothing feels right. Louise encouraged people to sit with their feelings, to allow fear and sadness to be present without letting them dictate the next decision. Growth often feels messy at first. That discomfort you're feeling is proof that something inside you is shifting. Think for a moment about a time in your life when you made a difficult choice. Maybe you left a job that no longer fulfilled. You ended a relationship that no longer supported your happiness, or moved away from an environment that drained your energy. In the beginning, it felt scary. But looking back, can you see how that decision created space for something better? Now imagine applying that same courage to the area of your life that feels stuck today. What if you trusted yourself enough to choose differently? What if you believed that letting go of what no longer fits is the first step toward receiving what truly belongs to you? Louise often reminded us that every act of self-love sends ripples through the universe. When you choose to honor yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Your healing becomes a light that shows others what is possible. So today, pause for a moment and ask yourself, where in my life am I still making myself small to keep others comfortable? And what might change if I allowed myself to grow without apology? If this reflection speaks to you, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Your words could give strength to someone else on the same path. There comes a moment when you realize that the life you truly want will not appear by chance. It will come as a result of the choices you make, the boundaries you set, and the love you show yourself every single day. Louise Hay often reminded people that we are the thinkers of our thoughts. This means we have the power to choose new thoughts and create a new reality, no matter how long we have been stuck in old patterns. Up until now, you may have accepted less without even realizing it. Staying in friendships that feel one-sided, remaining in a job that leaves you uninspired. Ignoring your health and emotional needs because taking care of yourself felt like a luxury you couldn't afford. But there's something powerful that happens when you finally pause and ask yourself, am I living the life I truly deserve? For many women, this question feels uncomfortable at first. It brings up feelings of guilt and self-doubt. But you may hear thoughts like, who am I to want more? Or isn't this good enough? These thoughts are not the truth. They are echoes of old beliefs that were never yours to begin with. Beliefs passed down from generations of women who were taught to settle, to stay quiet, to put everyone else first. Louise taught that change begins the moment we challenge these beliefs. It starts with small shifts in how we speak to ourselves. Changing a sentence like, I can't do this to, I am learning how to make better choices. Replacing I don't deserve more with I am worthy of happiness and love. These may seem like small adjustments, but over time, they change the way you see yourself and the world around you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and choosing to act as if you fully believed in your own worth. Imagine saying no to something that drains you without explaining why. Imagine taking one small step toward a dream you have been putting off. This is not about waiting for life to give you permission. It is about giving yourself that permission right now. Louise often said that the thoughts we choose to think are the tools we use to paint the canvas of our lives. If you want a life filled with love, peace, and joy, you must first create that energy within yourself. This means making choices every day that reflect how much you value your own well-being. So take a moment right now and ask yourself, what is one small decision I can make today that shows I value myself? It could be something as simple as taking a break when you feel tired or speaking kindly to yourself in the mirror. And if this message is resonating with you, I would love to know what part touched your heart the most. Feel free to share. In the comments below, the reflection might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Reaching this point in your journey is something worth recognizing. The fact that you are still here, listening, reflecting, and considering change means something inside you is awakening. Louise Hay often said that true transformation begins the moment we decide to stop living by old stories. It happens when we finally choose to write a new chapter for ourselves, one where love, respect, and self-worth become the foundation of everything we do. You may have spent years putting your needs last. Maybe you've gotten used to minimizing your feelings, making excuses for others, and telling yourself that things will get better someday. But the truth is, that better day doesn't come by accident. It arrives when you take that first brave step toward yourself. This is not about becoming someone new overnight. It's about making consistent choices that align with your value. It's choosing to walk away from conversations that leave you drained. It's deciding to rest when your body asks for it. It's giving yourself permission to dream again, even if part of you is still scared. Louise taught that the universe responds when we send out a clear signal. And that signal starts inside you. The thoughts you choose, the words you speak, and the actions you take become instructions for life to follow. If you continue accepting less, life will keep giving you situations that match that energy. But when you choose to demand more, when you stand tall in your worth, everything around you begins to shift. There will still be days when doubt creeps in, when old fears return. When you wonder if you're making the right decisions, this is normal. Growth is rarely a straight line. But every time you choose yourself, every time you set a boundary, every time you say no to what no longer serves you, you reinforce a new belief. The belief that you are enough, that you are worthy, that you deserve more. And as you continue on this path, you'll notice something beautiful happening. The people who align with your new energy will begin to appear. Opportunities you never imagined will start to show up. Situations that once felt impossible will become your new reality, not because life suddenly changed, but because you did. Louise Hay often said that self-love is the most powerful healing force in the universe. It is not something that happens to you. It is something you choose every day, in every moment, with every decision. So as we come to the end of this message, I want to leave you with one final reflection. What is one thing you are ready to release starting today? If you feel inspired, I would love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to leave a comment, share your experience, and if this video brought you any clarity or comfort, consider subscribing to the channel. Together, we can build a space where healing, growth, and transformation become part of every woman's life. Thank you for being here. And remember, you are worthy of more, always.